I'm speaking to local resident Phyllida Shelley. She is actually our artist in residence here at the Cookham Excavations, and in front of her is some of her artwork. Please, Philly, tell us about what you've been doing here so far.
Okay, so I came on site before the dig began and to record the actual paddock area when it was just grass and trees and everything, and I've gradually recorded the transformation of the site and the people that are on site, and I've got various sketchbooks. I started off with this sketchbook, which has a bit of everything in it really. It's got figures and rubbings of different fencing, the digger working the land, the metal detectorists coming on site. So really I wasn't sure what I was going to find, but I found so many different themes. I took rubbings of the trays that they put the fines in, of the wheelbarrow wheels, everything. I'm just basically collecting my own evidence of the dig, and that includes current sort of day-to-day happenings. The position of that people get into when they're excavating as well, so I started to observe that in this book, and the beginnings of those excavations of the land. We're using the buckets and the trays and the mattocks as well. There's the loos, so that's another, portaloos are quite important. The young archaeologists coming on site to do an activity day looking at archaeology, which was great fun. So a lot of people mention their young archaeology club as the beginnings of their own interest in archaeology. Now they're archaeologists themselves. So really I was looking at a flint in the ground, anything and everything. And then from that I decided to work in different sketchbooks. And so this one is all about the finds, and this drawing represents all the sort of different things that are found in one area and put into a tray, ready to be processed, analysed, cleaned if necessary, and maybe catalogued if it's a really important find. And then from that I decided to just do my own selecting various objects that interested me and gradually narrowing down a little bit. Here are some rubbings of teeth as well. And I gradually narrowed down, and I found out that I really like teeth, animals' teeth, and the patterns on them. They really are amazing. So it's given me an opportunity to find out about things that I hadn't really considered before, things that are just coming out of the ground. So this is a rubbing of a combed tile. This is one of the trowels that one of the volunteers was using, and I like the way that it starts off at a very regular, but it actually gets worn away, the trowel, during its use, so every trowel ends up different, so then repeat patterns with them. I also looked at the coin that was found last year, looking at the photograph of it as well as the actual coin itself, which is absolutely tiny, and just kept drawing it again and again to try and get the structure of the design, and understand how it was made, how it was designed, because that's a cast one, a cast coin. And then in this book I've been looking at the land and how the land is changing. So going out into the trenches to see the different slots that are transformed, and they're very sculptural shapes. And some of them are very deep, and they've got sort of flint shapes sticking out, which they're not natural, they've been put here, and then other areas yet to be excavated that since I did this drawing it's changed quite a bit, the excavation. So whilst I'm drawing, there's discussions around going on about how they're going to develop those spaces, and I find that quite interesting as well, that I'm drawing a changing landscape. I used earth as a warm tone within a composition, so that's a nice thing to discover that works quite well for me. So I'll be doing more of that and collecting different colours of earth. and this is some teeth set into the ground still. They haven't been excavated fully, but just to see the shapes of bones as natural stone and a bit more bone over here, just to see them as compositions. So there's those types of things in this book, and there's also a skull that was found very recently, and so I drew it concealed still. It's been removed from the trench at this stage, but it's packaged up and it's just sort of, you know, nicely contained, which I thought would make a nice composition. It's very nice to be able to draw a skull that's you know, sort of just been found, and this is a larger drawing of it. I drew it several times, working on the proportions, which are, you know, in reality they're not the standard shape, so it has to be really carefully observed, and I was interested to get an unusual angle on this particular skull. And then the other aspect, the other theme that I'm working on is the people, and so this sketchbook is all about people and the activity that's going on. So following people around site, watching them sweep and use their trowel and shovel up the earth and put it on spoil heaps. So it's land and people working together, discussing different things. So some of these are very quick and vague, and others, it depends on how much time you have. People resting and chatting, and just seeing the different ways that people work. Their hats are very important. It's been very sunny and hot here, so there's lots of different hat fashions, and that adds to the character of somebody. They've all chosen their particular style of hat. There's another person, Jen, working in fines area, cataloguing the fines. And then Sarah plotting some of the land in Trench 1. They also have people visiting the site, giving tours and talks, and so I like to be with those. And this one is sketching the sort of technology that happens here. So the drone goes over the site and records the site, and students are trained to do that as well. So it's good to record all the different ways that people are finding evidence on this dig. So yes, there's loads of those. People working in the slots, very hot conditions. I really wanted to record this because this was quite hard work for people working at this time. But they really work in close proximity, and it was nice to see such team action going on. So yes, it's there's just all the activities that's happening there. I did record the cleaning of the skull as well. So when it was first lifted from the trench, it was, let's see, talk about bones. Yes, it was carefully examined, and earth was removed from it, and great care was taken respecting the skull. And also making sure that it was in one piece, intact, and didn't fall apart during that initial investigation. So yeah, that's what I've been doing, recording everything.
I think all excavations need an artist in residence.
Yes, it gives people another way of looking at things. It's sort of brings conversation to the fore and makes people appreciate what they're doing and how much they're working together. And I think one aspect that is really important is how much laughter goes on here and how much chat happens, and just people being people, and that's probably what was happening in the past too.